So most people buy a 11-unit property, and what they want to do is go crazy with it. A value add is renovate it, put all the fancy dancy stuff, and increase rents. That's a value add. What I would recommend to each and every one of you, a value add is this, and never try to break this rule based on my experience. You buy that 11 unit today, and you recognize there's opportunity. Before you even take down a kitchen cabinet, before anything, before you evict somebody just because they want to pay this crazy rent, so we talked earlier. I think I got a little bit of my story. I really want to dig into questions because I'm here for you. This is my heart. So if you have a question, this is the time to write it down because I want to get to these questions quick so I can help you. I do not know it all. I am not the smartest person in the room. However, I can give you, based on my experience, my answer, my recommendation, my thoughts, my comments. So write down these questions. Who needs to know this story again of myself? Okay, good. So we don't have to go there so we can value the time. So in 2011, I was telling Albert, I went through a situation. Remember that company I told you about earlier? It was great. And then I got distracted. I wanted to get into real estate because I always loved real estate like you guys. But I had a great business. Man, this business was rocking. It was profitable from day one. It kept growing in double digits. In 2005, we were number 5 on Inc. magazine. Number 5. We made that list 13 times. Only a handful of companies ever did that. What a business. How can you not pay attention to it? So when you hear me tell you about your business, pay attention to it. Put more fuel to it. Because your minutes are non-refundable if you utilize them elsewhere. So we were doing so good. We didn't think markets were going to change. We thought things were going to always be great. And we didn't have the information to understand what to look for when markets change, whether it's a finance business or real estate business or whatever industry. So in 2004, it was a big trend, and I don't know about California or other markets. It's called condo conversions. We wanted to be developers, had zero experience, and all the information that I was receiving, just jump. And I friggin' jumped. And there's nothing wrong with that. I highly recommend that. But shame on me, because guess what? I didn't have information before I jumped. So I went ahead and I leveraged $75 million, and I went out, me and my brother, and we bought all these apartments, beautiful apartments, at very high prices, 0 cap rates. That's how high. We kicked out all the tenants. We filed the condo docs in the state of Florida, and now we're going to be developers. We're going to go ahead and sell these condos. We bought them for $100,000 a door. I'm just making up these numbers. We're going to go ahead and put 50 G's in there, so we're at $150, and we're going to sell them for $250. Let's rock. Let's go. We did that. And then what we did, we didn't understand the power of leverage, the good, bad, and ugly. We leveraged ourselves 110%. We bought all the apartments, because back then, as you guys know, it was easy to do that. And we leveraged ourselves to the hill. And then something happened we didn't know. It's called hedging. On the street, it's called plan B, plan C. Well, it's called hedging. We didn't hedge for the what ifs. What if it doesn't work out? What if a hurricane hits? What if the market crashes? What if the market adjusts? What if? We were so excited, guys. So excited. Just go with zero information. Well, what happened was exactly everything I just said and more. So we were stuck, and we were very blessed to have this company that I was not paying attention to, Bankers Healthcare Group, that was producing all these proceeds, all this net income, just doing so well for us, and I took it for granted. And I started getting distracted, looking at something, thinking I was so confident, nothing can bad happen to me. I am Godzilla, I can do it all, because that's what happens to us. We get so highly confident, and you always want to have confidence, but the best confidence, guys, is when you have the information. So it was a disaster. Everything and anything went wrong. Banks were owed money. And guess what? Again, Bankers Healthcare Group, because of the income, had to pay all that. Millions of dollars. Went to the closing table, and we were writing checks. All banks got home, no damage, no foul. There was no workouts, or there was one workout, and I'll get into that. It was actually a deal I repurchased because I said, I'm gonna go get my money back because now I have the information. So, man, big mistake. Big mistake. And that's what I say, my job today is if I can help you prevent one big mistake, that's a win. You're always gonna make mistakes. It's part of growing. But the big mistakes, you gotta learn from them and not repeat them. So I said I will never be a developer. I will never speculate against forces I cannot have control of. I have no control of where I live in South Florida of hurricanes. I have no control what goes on with China, the US. I have no control of so many things I did not pay attention to. Never again I would put myself or my family or my employees of Bankers Healthcare Group at risk. Because if we would have went heavier, and we were looking, even after we bought these deals for 75 million, like a junkie, I was looking for more. I was looking for more. The only reason I stopped was the market's change. Can you imagine if I bought another 25 million? Bankers Healthcare Group would be gone. So we worked out that situation, and man, I learned the power of where I grew up called rentals. C classes, that's where I grew up. D classes, Section 8, all that. I was so upset with myself, so disappointed. I was such a downer. And because of PMA, which is another trademark, I just trademarked it, positive mental attitude. And the reason I'm so positive, there's so many things negative about life. And when something happens to you and you come crashing down because of your own friggin' fault, you can't blame anybody, you get down and get affected and it just drags you down. So I'm always positive, and that got me through as well. So my beautiful wife of Sophia, will be married 29 years this October 6th, together 30 years. She lifted me, man. She said, Bobby, she lifted me. And I love you. I love you, Sophie. Love you. And it's just not my story, guys. A little bit about Sophie. She never graduated from high school. You know, I'm just the big mouth. I love people. But without Sophie, none of this will be possible. So I love you, Sophie. Thank you. So what happened was Sophie and I regrouped as a team. Wow, what did we learn? No coaching from nobody, guys. No one was giving me the information. I was winging this, me, my brother, and Al, just winging it. So we said, you know what? We're gonna go back to stack and rack. We're gonna go back stacking cash, because remember, I had to pay this condo situation off. Bankers Healthcare Group had to write checks, distribute it to us, because they couldn't pay it directly. And they were taking my money. I mean, such a healthy company. You know, last year, it probably gave me $15 million personally. This year when I probably exited, whatever I did, I just told you the story, plus maybe made another $7 million. Great company. We will never jeopardize our staff and the Holy Grail that provides for us. But Sophie and I said, you know what? We're gonna stack and rack. Stack means we're gonna get back and pay attention to what's been good to us. We're gonna put more fuel to it, more love. We're gonna fertilize it. And when we do, and the time comes, we're gonna start racking, means we're gonna start buying real estate. We're gonna start investing. We were so hungry, we knew when next time a correction happens or an adjustment happens, we wanted to make sure we were liquid. That's how Warren Buffett, all these people, these extreme wealth, they tell us how they become wealthy, and us, we ignore it. And it's a simple formula to pay attention to, but we don't pay attention to it because it's not the instant fixed. So we were stacking, and then in 2011, started sniffing opportunity. I started seeing these doors, $45,000, $50,000 a door when we were paying $150. Okay? We started driving, Sophie and I. Now it starts stimulating. Now we're starting to even rack more. Our first deal in 2011, we went to Hialeah, a Latino community. We bought an 11 unit. We said, never again, we will start high. We will start low. This is how we learned. This is how we got it. Step by step, more so with the information we learned. And the information we learned, you don't start here. You start where you're at. Remember that. If you could take that away today, start where you're at. Don't fall victim. And we're going to get to some questions. I know you're friggin' pumped. I see your eyes. You're just like, he's already ready. You got to have a question. Save it. Write it down, dude, because you'll forget it, okay? So we bought 11 units. Banks weren't lending, as you can imagine. It was hard to get financing. So we went to the owner, and he did seller financing. We gave him a minimum down payment, whatever worked for the deal, and tried to convince him to do the deal. And again, I could have put up a down payment, a big down payment, or maybe even paid it off free and clear because Bankers Healthcare was doing good. But since we took so much from it to get us out of the trouble, we had to rebuild the balance sheet. We almost lost our line of credit. So it started paying us a lot less so we can start taking care of our company and start filling it up. So we were making so much less, practically nothing, because we were just feeding this company what it should have never been damaged for. So that was our first deal in really multifamily investment. We did stuff before, throughout the years. We've always loved real estate, but I'm just trying to shorten up the conversation. And we got away from rentals. We knew rentals were the way to go. We got distracted, and we wanted to be developers. Crazy. So we got that, and then I knew from that deal, the information I learned on my own, the true value add. So most people buy an 11-unit property, and what they want to do is go crazy with it. A value add is renovate it, put all the fancy-dancy stuff, and increase rents. That's a value add. What I would recommend to each and every one of you, a value add is this, and never try to break this rule based on my experience. You buy that 11 unit today, and you recognize there's opportunity. Before you even take down a kitchen cabinet, before anything, before you evict somebody just because they want to pay this crazy rent, the power of $25. What we did, ask for $25. And I think all of you would agree, every tenant is going to say yes to it. The renewal, hey, we're going to increase you $25. We wanted to bring up the $25 value, and I'll get to you how that gave us millions, tens of millions of dollars, probably $100 million from this strategy. So you raise rents. You stress and test your market. We raised it by $25 only, new leases. We didn't even touch anything. Kept raising it. We kept raising it to the point where the market told us, okay, we're not willing to pay you no more. You have reached your peak. And I don't remember the number, let's just call that was $100. Then we got pushback in the market saying, no, I'm not gonna pay you $125. And how the pushback looks, your occupancy, your vacancies, your collections, they start behaving not good. That tells you I have reached my